Hey, how's it going? It's Greg and Paisley with Performance Dog Supply. Today we're going to be going over the Rexpex goggles conditioning process. My preferred way to do it with the goggles. Before we put them on her face, the first thing I want to do is just kind of associate the presence of them. A dog has never seen this thing before. They have no clue what it is. Let's make it positive, right? What I'm going to do next is I'm going to use the muzzle hole. So on the goggles, when you have them in front of you, you'll see kind of how the strap system's set up. The ears are going to go over these side straps, and the muzzle is going to go in between the bottom of the frame and this little X that the strap makes. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my hand in front of that, kind of where their muzzle's poking through, and then I'm letting their muzzle go through those, and she has to let the frames touch her face before she gets that food. I'm gonna kind of turn her sideways here. So she's coming through the lenses are touching her face, and then I'm giving her that food. I can, I have 8, 9, 10 pieces of kibble here. I'm dropping one. I have kibble here. I can give it to her in a continuous reinforcement kind of way. I can, go kibble, kibble, kibble. She's eating, she's eating, she's eating, and she ate that whole handful, kibble at a time or 2 kibbles at a time. From there, what I can do is I can start to slowly make it more of like a scheduled base reinforcement. So if I bring her over here and I put her right there, I have, again, 10 or 15 pieces of kibble in here. Right now, she's getting none. I just gave her one. She's getting none. She's getting none. She's licking. I gave her one. I gave her one. I gave her a few. And I'm just jackpotting her right now. She just ate like probably 5 or 6 pieces at the very end, all instantaneously. For a second, she got a kibble. They're touching for another second, she got a kibble. Touching for 3 seconds, she got a kibble. She went through that whole training cycle, jackpot, right? Now I can do that a little bit different. I can make her nose come through it. She's getting nothing. I'm not even holding the goggles now. Now they're just resting on her face, kind of slant it, so I'm gonna fix that. So now they're just resting on her face, no kibbles yet, just got one. Working, working, working. She's licking, licking, licking. No kibbles yet. She just got another. Working, working, working. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and then jackpot. Right when I start to see her lose attention or lose focus or lose care, jackpot that. Give her that big reward. Having these frames touching her face is not a bad thing. It's a non-issue, right? Going into the next stage when I want to clip these on, and then get that reinforcement schedule a little bit more separated. I kind of want to have this size somewhat to what I would expect it to fit on her already. That way it'll just make it easier for me. I'm gonna loosen this back strap up first. I really don't care about the command side of it, but you totally can make that a cue, right? So I could say goggles, and then yes, right? And we can just keep working on that specific portion. I can say goggles, yes, right? And just keep going through that phase. But what I'm gonna do now is, like I said, I'm gonna strap up the backside and I'm just gonna reinforce her through wearing them freestanding essentially. So she puts her nose through it. I give her 1 or 2 pieces. I'm gonna come ahead, move her ears out of the way for non-floppy eared or non-long eared, long hair eared dogs. It'll be a lot easier, a lot quicker. But I went ahead, got her goggles on like that. I'm gonna kind of move her around a little bit. Now she's wearing the frames. I didn't cinch the back down yet, but now she's wearing the frames, just kind of moving around, taking continuous reinforcement or taking some sort of scheduled variable reinforcement. She's kind of moving on her own. If I left her alone, left her to be, she might eventually start pawing at these. So I'm gonna go ahead, take them off. And this is probably one of the most important of the beginning stages. Do it at an appropriate base speed. I want her to really enjoy wearing the goggles. I want her to really enjoy, having them on, because before we can start being free, being off leash, running around with the goggles on, she's gonna have that free will to be able to paw them off. The moment she paws them off, she learns, hey, I don't have to wear these anymore. It's a huge learning factor for her to not have to, wear them if all she has to do is paw them off. So what I want to do is put a leash on her, do a little bit of obedience, walk her around, manage and mitigate her from being able to do so. Do that for some training reps, and then we'll go into the off-leash stage. Everything that we just kind of went over is probably a 3 to 5 day minimum training cycle. You want to do this a couple times throughout the day. a couple times throughout the week, and then move into that on-leash portion. So what I would do realistically is, we had this training session. I would go ahead, maybe work on the whole goggle command, right? Maybe I go work on goggles, yes, for a rep. Goggles, put your nose in, yes, rep. And do that for a few times. Just get her more and more comfortable with the goggles on. Maybe get those on again. Do a little bit of the twirls, do a little bit of the circles. Just make it a huge thing. Maybe do some breakfasts or dinners. Put the goggles on, give her the whole bowl, let her eat the whole bowl, pop those goggles off immediately. Don't walk away. Whatever you do in this stage, don't put the goggles on and ignore. You want to be ready to pop those goggles off the moment you see your dog might wanting to go paw them. Ideally, if they do go paw them and they're off leash right now, mitigate how you can. Don't snap them off, because if they learn, hey, I paw at it and hey, I didn't get it off, but my owner took them off of me, great, right? So we don't want that. So mitigate, get them to stop pawing at it, maybe do another rep, another spin, and then pop them off on your terms, not theirs, right? That's the whole point, is we want them to keep them on our terms, and we take them off 100% of the time. So we'll go ahead and get a leash and then move into the next essential step.